Okay, so have you ever thought about starting like a podcast?
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, ugh, the equipment, the editing, like finding guests,
Yeah.
like all that stuff just
It's a
seems
lot.
like a mountain to climb.
It is.
Yeah, well, I recently came across this system and it promises
Okay.
to use AI to basically like build a whole podcast empire for you. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so I was like, whoa, hold on a sec. But then I thought,
Right.
this is like perfect for a deep dive
Yeah.
because we both need to know, is this thing legit or is it just all hype?
Absolutely. And one thing that really stood out to me was how this system really focuses on that
That's right.
overwhelmed feeling, which honestly, a lot of people feel when they think about starting a
For
podcast.
sure.
So it's kind of like saying, hey, all that stuff you're worried about, the AI takes care of it.
Right.
So it's definitely appealing, but
Yeah.
the big question is, can it actually deliver?
Exactly, because they're saying that you can just take any keyword or like
Wow.
any little idea you have, even just a website,
Okay.
and this AI will spin it into a viral podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Viral, like, I don't know about you, but that like
Yeah, right.
sets off my inner alarm bell a little.
It definitely plays into that desire we all have,
Yeah.
Like for overnight success, that would be amazing.
Oh, for sure.
And, speaking of playing into desires,
Okay.
did you notice all the marketing tactics?
Oh, yeah.
Limited time offers, countdown timers, like that whole don't miss out vibe.
Oh, absolutely. And they name drop like some big names too,
Oh, really?
like Joe Rogan and Tim Ferriss.
Wow, okay.
It's almost like they're saying, hey, if these guys can do it, so can you. All thanks to our system.
Interesting. It's clever, but it also raises a red flag.
Yeah.
Because even with the best tools, building a successful podcast still takes
Yeah.
time and effort and a lot of creativity.
Okay, so let's get into like the nuts and bolts. Like, what are they actually offering?
Right.
So they really push the idea that this is like easy to use, even if you have zero technical skills.
Wow.
Like you don't need any equipment or editing software.
Really?
The AI supposedly handles it all.
Huh. And they even mention giving you access to
Yeah.
these secret free AI tools, which I have to admit I was a little curious about too.
I know. If they're really as powerful as they claim, that could be like a major selling point.
Yeah.
But we need to see them in action to really know.
Oh, sure.
Then there's the cost, which they emphasize is like a low one-time fee.
Okay.
They really play up the contrast with like what it would cost to hire freelancers or pay for expensive podcasting software.
That makes sense. It's a smart tactic
Yeah.
because they're really positioning it as an investment.
Totally.
But just like with any investment, it's important to look beyond
Right.
that initial price tag and think about potential hidden costs
Yeah.
or limitations.
For sure. Like what if
Right, like
those free AI tools?
exactly suddenly become paid tools.
Yeah, and what about like
Right.
the quality of the content?
Yes.
Like even if the AI can handle the technical side,
Yeah.
can it actually create podcasts that are like
Yeah.
engaging, informative,
Right.
and sound like they were made by a person?
That's the million-dollar question, because if you think about it,
Yeah.
like your favorite podcasts, it's not just about the info.
Right.
It's the way the host delivers that information, their sense of humor,
Right.
their ability to make you feel like you're part of a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Can AI really do that? I'm not so sure.
I see what you mean. Okay, so they're promising easy use, low cost,
Yeah.
and potentially access to these cool AI tools.
Yeah.
But they're making some pretty bold claims
They are.
about turning anyone into like
Right.
a podcasting superstar.
Right.
So I think it's time to dig a little deeper
Yeah.
and see what's really going on behind the curtain.
Absolutely. I think we need to examine these claims a little more critically.
Yes, so stay tuned because in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to really unpack the specifics of this system, analyze its potential strengths and weaknesses, and explore like the broader implications of using AI to create content.
I'm excited.
We'll also talk about some important things to consider if you're thinking about using AI in your own creative work.
It's going to be good.
So stick around because this deep dive is just getting started.
I'm ready.
All right, so we've talked about like the big promises and the like flashy marketing,
Yeah.
but let's get down to like
Right.
the nitty-gritty. What does this AI claim to do when it comes to like actually creating a podcast?
Well, they make a big deal about
Okay.
effortless script writing and professional voiceovers.
Okay.
All generated by their secret AI tools.
Right.
They're really pushing this idea
Yeah.
that you can go from idea to finished product with minimal effort.
Yeah, the secret tools thing is definitely intriguing.
Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder like, are they really groundbreaking or is it just
Right.
hype?
It's hard to say without actually seeing them in action.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to be realistic
Okay.
about the current capabilities of AI. Like,
Yeah.
it can do some pretty amazing things, like generate text that sounds human-like.
Right.
It can create, like, fairly convincing voiceovers,
Yeah.
but can it really replicate the nuance,
Yeah.
the personality, the emotional connection
Yeah.
that a real human host brings? That's where I have my doubts.
I agree, because like if you think about your favorite podcasts,
Yeah,
it's not just about the information. It's like
right.
the way the host delivers that information, like
Mm-hmm.
their sense of humor, their ability to make you feel like
Yeah,
you're part of the conversation.
right.
Can an AI really do that?
Exactly. And that ties into another important point they make
Go
about
ahead.
monetizing your podcast through affiliate marketing.
Right.
So basically, you're creating podcasts that review products,
Uh-huh.
and then you earn a commission if someone buys through your link,
Right.
which is a legit strategy, but it relies heavily on building trust
Equally.
with your audience.
For sure.
Like, people need to believe that you genuinely recommend these products, not just because you're getting paid to.
Exactly. So if your podcast sounds like it was generated by a robot,
Right.
are people going to trust your recommendations?
That's a good question.
Right. I'm not so sure.
And on top of that, they also talked about like customizable templates
Oh, yeah?
to help you structure your podcast,
No.
which on the one hand, that could be helpful for
Yeah.
people who are completely new to podcasting.
For sure.
But on the other hand, if everyone's using the same templates, doesn't that raise the risk of like
Yeah.
everyone's podcast sounding the same?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It kind of defeats the purpose of having like
Yeah.
your own unique voice and standing out.
Exactly. And speaking of standing out,
Okay.
think they also claim this system can help you dominate like
Right.
podcasting charts,
Yeah.
even though it's getting more competitive all the time.
That's a bold claim. How do they say you'll achieve that?
Well, they mentioned providing like advanced podcast SEO training
Okay.
as part of their package.
So SEO is important for getting your podcast like discovered,
Uh-huh.
but is it enough to guarantee success?
Right. SEO can definitely help, but
Okay.
it's only one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
You also need to create high-quality content that people actually want to listen to.
Right.
You need to like build a community around your podcast.
Right.
Engage with your audience.
Yeah.
Promote your show effectively.
And those are all things that AI can't really do for you, right?
Exactly. No matter how sophisticated AI becomes,
Yeah.
it can't replace the human element of
Right.
like building relationships and connecting with people
Yeah.
authentically and sharing your unique perspective with the world.
So it seems like this system might be able to handle
Yeah.
some of the technical aspects of
Hmm.
podcasting, but it's not like a magic bullet.
Right.
You still need to put in the work, develop your own voice, and find ways to connect with your audience.
Absolutely. It's about using AI as like a
Okay.
tool to enhance your creativity,
Right.
not to replace it entirely.
Okay, so we've talked about like what the AI can do
Yeah.
and how important it is to have that like human element in your podcast.
Absolutely.
But there's one more thing we need to talk about
Okay.
that really caught my eye, and that's the like financial aspect of all of this.
You're talking about how they emphasize that low one-time fee?
Exactly. It's like
Right.
they're saying ditch the expensive freelancers and software. Like AI is the answer.
Right. Right.
But is it really that simple?
I think it's important to remember that there's always a trade-off.
Right.
Like, you might save money up front, but relying solely on AI could, like,
Yeah.
limit your control and flexibility later on.
That's a good point. Like, what if
Right.
you want to experiment with different formats or
Exactly.
add some like personal touches or
Yeah.
things that require like a human brain?
Right. And what happens if
Right.
those secret free AI tools
Yeah.
suddenly become paid tools?
Right.
Or what if, like, the technology changes
Yeah.
and those tools become outdated? Are you left scrambling?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about like
Yeah.
the sustainability of it all.
Exactly.
Because when you build your whole podcasting approach around AI,
Yeah.
you're basically putting your faith in those tools.
Right.
And like, what about the legal stuff?
Oh, that's a good point.
Like copyright laws around AI generated content
Yeah.
are still kind of evolving.
Yeah. It's a lot of gray area.
Exactly. And especially if you're thinking about making money from your podcast
Right.
through affiliate marketing.
Uh-huh.
Like just because you're using AI generated content
Right.
doesn't mean you're off the hook legally.
Right. Sure.
So it seems like from a financial standpoint,
Yeah.
this AI system might look appealing,
Yeah.
but there are some things to consider.
Definitely some risks.
Yeah, some hidden costs.
Yeah. And don't forget about the money back guarantee.
Oh yeah?
Or I guess, like, the lack of one.
The length thereof.
The fact that it disappears once you see the training material.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a red flag.
For sure.
Like, makes you wonder what they're hiding.
Right, like, are there limitations they're not telling us about?
Exactly.
Yeah, you always got to be careful when a company is not upfront
Yes.
about their refund policy.
Agreed. It's your money.
Right.
You should know what you're getting into.
Exactly. So for you, the listener,
Yeah.
if you're thinking about getting into podcasting,
Uh-huh.
AI can be a helpful tool,
Yes.
but don't fall for the hype
Don't believe the hype.
of effortless success.
Right. Ask questions.
Right, like be skeptical.
Be skeptical. Weigh those pros and cons.
Because building a successful podcast takes time and effort
Yeah.
and a genuine passion for what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And AI can, like, help with the process,
Uh-huh.
but it can't replace that human element.
That connection.
Exactly.
Right.
So as you explore the possibilities of AI and podcasting,
Yeah.
think about what makes your voice unique.
That's a good one.
What stories do you want to tell?
Yeah.
And how can you use AI to enhance,
Right.
not erase
Yes.
your own creativity?
That's the key.
I think that's a good place to wrap up this deep dive.
I agree.
A huge thank you for joining us as we explored the promises and potential pitfalls of building an AI-powered podcast empire.
Yeah, this was fun.
Be sure to join us next time as we unpack more fascinating topics
I'm excited.
and dive deep into the world of knowledge.
Sounds good.
APN.